The rain had not yet touched the earth that evening, but the clouds above Okija Hills were swollen and restless, as if heaven itself was waiting for a secret to break. Inside the great mansion of Chief Emmanuel David, the richest man the land had ever seen, silence walked like a shadow. The servant whispered in corner, their eyes red from weeping, their hands trembling as they carried water pots and firewood. A heavy rumor hung in the air. The great chief was dead. Or so the world believed. But down in the hidden chamber beneath the mansion, Chief Emmanuel David sat in silence, alive and breathing. He said to himself, with his voice rough like a calabash scraping stone, a man who eats yam alone must know if his children will plant again when he is gone. The lion must sometime play dead to know which cup has teeth and which has only hunger. He had built empire, farmlands that stretched like the horizon, cocoa warehouse, all well deep as the underworld. The heads of cattle that thundered like army. His wealth was a kingdom in itself, but his fear was greater than his riches. Fear that his children, 7 of them, would scatter the wealth like seed in dry harmattan wind. He faked his death. The coffee had been lowered into the heads 2 days earlier, was empty, filled only with palm tree and stone. The mourner had cried, the drummer had beaten their sorrowful rhymes, the priestess had prayed for the family. Even his children had wailed like orphans abandoned in the market square. But David had watched it all from the secret chamber, through the eyes of a trusted Obialu, his loyal servant, who carried every whisper of the outside world down into the darkness. And what he heard unsettled him more than the grave itself. For a while the servants wept, the children screamed. Adiola, the first son, had already begun to boast of his strength to lead. Chioma, the first daughter, had locked herself with the account book with her sharp eyes. Francis, the second son, poured palm wine down his throat and laughed with his idle friends about feasts yet to come. Ifunanya, the second daughter, quarreled with everyone who questioned her rights. Nnamdi, the third son, stayed quiet, watching like a patient lizard on a tree. Bamidele, the gentle fourth son, wept in with his flute, his music heavy with sorrow, and Zainab, the youngest daughter, troubled with fear as her siblings' voices grew louder, their hearts blacked by greed. Chief David's lips tightened. His test had only begun. The third day after the first burial, Adiola stood in the room and struck the table with his fist. Brothers, sister, he boomed, his chest rising like a drum. The lion is dead, but tradition, the first son, is the pillar of the house. All land, cattle, and titles should fall under my care. I will lead and you will follow. Chioma rose slowly. Elders say the cockroach does not rule in the garden of fowl. Who told you, Adiola, that you are fit to lead? Strength is nothing without wisdom. Give me the key to the account book, and I will make his words grow like yam in rainy season. You, she pointed at him, you will waste it on walls and pride. Francis staggered forward, already drunk, though the sun had not yet set. Both of you talk too much. Let us divide everything now, each man for himself. The world is sweeter when a man drink palm wine in his own house, not in another man's shadow. Ifunanya clapped her hand in anger. God forbid, no man will cheat me. Am I not the daughter of the lion? Give me my share, and let me scatter my enemy with it. The hall boiled with noise. Only Nnamdi kept silent, his eyes like a hawk. Bamidele pressed his flute to his lips, but no sound came. His heart was too heavy. Zainab cried softly, begging them to remember love, but their ears were deaf. Down in the chamber, David shook his head. The yam is roasting, and the fire is too hot. Let me see which children will eat it raw, which will wait, or which will quench the flame. That night, the ancestors sent a dream to David. In the dream, his late father Emmanuel stood tall, his eyes bleeding. David, my son, the spirit thundered, you have played with the rope of death, tying it around your children's neck. That greed grow like weed in the season of rain. Blood will spill if you do not reveal yourself. End the deceit, or curse of the ancestors will fall upon your house. David woke trembling, sweat all over his body. For the first time, fear gripped him, but pride whispered in his ear, not yet. Watch them longer, perhaps one will rise like the Iroko above the bush tree. So he stayed hidden. Days turned into weeks, and whispers turned to plots. Chinelo and Kelechi conspired in secret, planning to remove Adiola from the path. Adiola gathered guards of his own. Ifunanya shouted louder, demanding a piece of the inheritance. Nnamdi moved quietly, guarding secrets. Bamidele wept into his music, and Zainab prayed to the river goddess for peace. One moonless night, Chinelo lured Adiola into the cocoa warehouse, claiming thieves were stealing the estate's wealth. But waiting inside were her hired men, cutlasses in the dark. Diola fought like a wounded lion, his roar shaking the rafters. Two men fell by his hand, but bleed pierced his thighs and arms. He staggered, bleeding, as Chinelo stepped forward with his cold eyes. This estate cannot serve two kings, brother, she hissed. But before she could strike, Nnamdi stormed with his loyal servant, saving Adeola's life. Chinelo and Kelechi flew into the night like shadow chased by fire. When the news reached Chief David, his heart broke. His children had drawn war. The ancestors' warning thunder in his ear. End this masquerade, or death will claim what you love most. Still, he insisted. For 3 nights and 3 days, rain poured without rest, the river swelling, hunts collapsed, and even the great mansion trembled. The village priestess, Mama Izeneyi, declared, the ancestors are angry. Unless sacrifice is made, there will not be peace. The villager pointed fingers, whispers of curse spread, and the name Chief David became bitter on their tongues. Inside the mansion, fear gripped like rats. Adeola lay wounded. Chinelo plots grew sharper. Kelechi drank himself into madness. Ifunanya caused the storm. Nnamdi stayed quiet. Bamidele wept, and Zainab trembled. Until the night she disappeared, her room was empty. The bed cold. Panic shook the house. Some said the river had swallowed all her. Others feared she had been taken by the spirit. Chief David in his chamber fell to the floor in anguish. His youngest child, his gentle dove, gone. The ancestor thundered, we warn you, one you love shall be taken. David wept bitterly. But at dawn, Zainab returned, weak, soaked, and trembling. She had waded into the river in ready to end her life, but an old woman had saved her. That morning, as the children gathered in confusion, the mansion door cracked open and thunderous footsteps echoed from the stair. There stood Chief David, alive, clad in white robe, eyes bleeding. My children, his voice, I'm not dead. I have watched you, I have tested you, and have seen your heart. Fear gripped the hall. Adiola dropped his cane. Chinelo staggered back. Kelechi fell to his knee. Ifunanya curses dried in her throat. Zainab stumbled. Bamidele trembled. Nnamdi calm mask cracked. You, Adiola, you deceived us. Chinelo screamed. You mocked us. But before their quarrel could rise again, the ancestral shrine burst with smoke and voices thundered from beyond. David, you mocked death. Your children mocked love. Balance must be restored. The earth shook. Jewel turned into dust, wounds reopened, tongue swallowed, flutes cracked, letter born. Zeno fainted. Bamidele cried out, Ancestors, punish me, not them. Let my life pay the price. The voice answered, Then so be it. One life for many, yours or theirs. David fell to his knee. Tears streamed down from his eyes. Take me, spare them. His children screamed as his body trembled. He turned his fading eyes towards them and whispered, Wealth is dust without love. Unity is the only true inheritance. Then he slumped forward, lifeless. The storm cloud parted. The air grew warm. The curse lifted. Chief David was gone. The children wept for hours, for the first time, not for wealth, but for love lost. They buried their father for real this time, with drums and sorrow. The villagers watched in halo, whispering of the billionaire who faked his death and gave his life for his children's redemption. And from that day, the 7 children changed. Adela became a protector. Chinelo used her corny for trade. Kelechi tapped his palm wine taste and became a bold negotiator. Ifunanya fire turned into justice. Nnamdi silence became wisdom. Bamidele healed art with music. Zainab kindness held them together. Always remember, wealth without unity is ash. Love is the true inheritance. Thus, end the tale of Chief David, the billionaire father who pretended to be dead to test his children.